Now, let me introduce you, Reverend G. Ludvig-McCartney. You've known her once before. Come on up. I'll just let you take over.
Thank you so much. So normally, I consider that if I'm not early, I'm late. If I'm late, I don't even know what to think. I thought that you were an hour behind us. And so I was really early for that. But turns out, I don't always think so well. So thank you for waiting. Thank you for your flexibility. Here I am. And I did prepare a talk, so that's the good news. So good to be with you again. I'm Reverend G. I am the minister in Michigan, in Portage, at the Unitarian Universalist Church there, which is on the same time zone as you are. Well, there you go. So anyway, the title of my talk is the dilemma of the caterpillar. And you spoke something about the chrysalis. You came, there you go, there you are. So I will be talking about that as well. And then eventually, will you please put that picture up on the screen for me of, thank you, yeah. And you have time, you don't have to do it right now. I can just cue you in when I would like it. But now is also fine. There you go. It's just on time. So anyway, I want to talk to you about the caterpillar and the dilemma of the caterpillar. So what is a caterpillar? A caterpillar is just an eating machine. It just eats and eats and eats and eats and eats. And then a time comes when it attaches itself to a leaf, and then it turns itself into a chrysalis. And once the chrysalis is formed, it begins releasing enzymes. And these are digestive enzymes. And you would think that it would break down the leaf to feed the chrysalis, but in fact, it breaks down the body of the caterpillar. And it turns it into this primeval goo, an ooze. It's like a soup. And it's hard for us to understand because we humans tend to think of growth as linear. Like there is the tadpole that then grows feet or legs, and then it turns into the frog. Or little baby, you feed it, and then it turns into an adult. It's a linear. It's the same thing becomes bigger. But the caterpillar is very different. So this enzyme breaks down its body. As far as the caterpillar knows, this is over. This is death. And it resists it because in this goo, a new thing starts to emerge. And it's called the imaginal cell. And the imaginal cell carries the DNA of the butterfly. But the caterpillar thinks that the imaginal cell is a foreign body, and with whatever little immune system it still has left, it attacks the imaginal cell. It's as though the past is fighting the future. But then more and more imaginal cells, and these imaginal cells were in the body of the caterpillar the entire time, but they were dormant. And then more imaginal cells pop up in this goo, and they start communicating with each other. And as they communicate, they find each other, and they form colonies. And then eventually they form networks. They are singularly determined to become, even though the past, the caterpillar's immune system, whatever little is left of it, is fighting them. They are singularly determined to become. Now, if you or I, if we were to break open a chrysalis in this stage, all we would find is goo. We wouldn't find a tiny little caterpillar, a tiny little butterfly with tiny little wings. We would just find goo. But then eventually, these imaginal cells cluster, then they form networks, and because they are programmed, in their DNA is the butterfly, they turn into the butterfly. So the butterfly does not use the past as foundation. It uses it as fuel. Think of that. The butterfly does not use the past as foundation. It uses it as fuel. And my friends, I would like to think that we are in this chrysalis moment, where the world around us is breaking down. Trust is questioned. It's disappearing. Truth seems like an unattainable, impossible reality. The environment and our fight to keep it is more like a silent, desperate scream. Everything that we know and trust is just deteriorating before our eyes. We notice that things that used to comfort us in the past are going away, and things that we would know to fear are becoming a reality. Our life is breaking down, just like in the chrysalis, the body of the caterpillar. But what if this is not a moment of death, but it is a platform, a necessary, needed platform for transformation? Now, I imagine that a caterpillar would be greatly comforted if a savior butterfly would come to it and would say, "Don't worry, honey. You too one day shall be like me. Look at me." But there is no singular butterfly, savior butterfly that comes to the caterpillar. So there's the dilemma. Letting go of that which is old and doesn't work anymore, and trust that something better, new, emerges from it. Us too. I would love for a singular leader to emerge and tell me, "Gee, it's going to be okay. Don't worry, honey. We have a plan. The plan is solid as rock, and we shall all be saved." But in case you've been paying attention, there ain't no leader. So think of the imaginal cells. One imaginal cell is threatened by the caterpillar's still existing immune system. But once they start communicating with each other, they form a cluster, then a network, and they become a swarm together. And once they become a swarm, the butterfly becomes possible. Look at this Jimmy Kimmel situation, right? Think about that. He gets canceled by the singular leader, right? The one leader who says it must stop. We can't have this anymore. And then the imaginal cells in the country, individual, disorganized, certainly not centralized, imaginal cells start doing that which they are programmed for. Programmed for freedom of speech, programmed to resist. And these imaginal cells, all of us, We just take our phones, start Googling how to cancel Disney Plus, how to cancel Hulu, what else does Disney control? We're not going to buy that. And then these imaginal cells start communicating, and then we swarm. And Disney can't ignore it. And how many days did it take to bring Jimmy Kimmel back on the air? 3 days. 3-4 days, right? Almost no time at all. So, imaginal cells, you and me. And then we start communicating. And what is our DNA? And there it is. There it is. Look at that. It's love at the center. And then because of this love, we care for justice. We care for interdependence, for equity, for transformation, pluralism, and generosity. This is our DNA. This is what we are singularly programmed to become. This is the moment when everything turns goo around us. To go back to the basics and look at it. This is what we care about. And then this is what we congregations, UU congregations do. We are the individual imaginal cells. And then we communicate with other UU congregations. And then with other UU congregations. And then we become a swarm. And we are determined to becoming. And you know, the past hasn't all been perfect. So it is good for us to just let go of things that didn't work. Things are breaking down. It's happening. Now we have the freedom to bring forth the butterfly. It's a new form, an improved. This is the thing that doesn't crawl, it's the thing that flies. It's a beauty. And how do we do that? And we go back to the basics, and what we create, what we recreate out of this goo, the transformation has the potential of being a lot more beautiful, being able to serve more of us, be more inclusive, more just, more beautiful. Margaret Mead said that never, and I'm going to paraphrase, I don't remember the quote exactly, but never underestimate the commitment and the capability of a small group of people who wishes to change the world. And indeed, that's how change has ever happened. It doesn't take all of us. It just takes a tipping point. It takes enough of us. It doesn't require all of us. It requires enough of us. You and I, the imaginal cells. So in this moment, where truth is non-existent and lies are the day of the or the norm of the day, it is our job to become more truthful than ever. If you see any information, double check. And then double check again to make sure that it is accurate. In this moment when compassion and empathy is considered a weakness and an unnecessary thing, then dig deep and be even more compassionate and have even more empathy. Where justice is hard to find, then we shall be even more just than before. We double down on our principles. If these principles are so good, we should be the first ones to live by it. And if they're not so good, then we need to discard them, right? But if they're so good, and I think they're wonderful, we should be the first ones to live by them. Live by them in our homes, in our hearts, in our communities, everywhere. You and I are imaginal cells. Without your commitment, without my commitment, transformation is impossible. And we shouldn't let a good goo go to waste. And we needn't use the past as a platform. We must use it as fuel, a reminder. What are the things that didn't work well? Do not recreate those. Do not recreate those. Instead, let's reimagine a world where the cornerstones are these principles. All of them fueled by love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism. We don't all have to think alike to love alike. We don't all have to believe alike to love alike. We have a possibility. We have an opportunity now to dream big. And as impossible as it may seem today in this moment, when fear wants to take over, our love must be stronger. Our commitment to our DNA, right there, has to be so strong that a butterfly can emerge. A new life. A country that is stronger in its democracy than it's ever been. A country that cares for the ones who are less fortunate, for the disenfranchised, a country that just embraces, where the 1% of trans people doesn't become such a huge thing that we all have to rail against. Why would we do that? Is that what love would have us do? What would love have us do? And just know that people who come through the doors of this building and any other UU building, the only question you ever have to ask, what would love have me do? Because at the center is love. And that fuels all of that. And this is our dilemma. Will we let go of the past? And are we willing to become these imaginal cells, to swarm this society and bring about a future that is significantly better than we've ever had in the past? Do not allow the past to define us. Use it as fuel and not as foundation. Here's to you. Here's to me. Here's to our work. And do not wait for a singular savior. For my friend, you are the savior you've always been waiting for. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend G. Wonderful. And now it is time for our offering.